Hey guys, welcome to Let Me Tell You, episode 3.
Welcome back to Let Me Tell You. I hope that you've been enjoying our episodes.
Yes, I know we have plenty to talk and there's just so many things that we could discuss. So welcome back and thank you so much. And of course, we ask that if you could please subscribe, follow, and share our page as well.
Again, we are not professionals. We are not therapists. We're just simply two comadres having a chat,
Yes.
sharing their life experience, that hoping that you can, use this to encourage others, learn from it, but ultimately, you're not alone.
Yes, and as you can tell, we have a new setting. So welcome to my office.
Yes,
We just finished painting.
Yes. See, we've got to do it. Multitasking, reaching those goals. That's Wendy.
Yes,
Yay.
my feet are throbbing, but
She still looks fabulous.
Thank God, I'm okay. Oh, thank you, love. Lipsticks makes wonders.
Yes, which was the topic we're actually going to discuss is, the pressures of society, not just as a woman, but the ways that we look, appearances. How young were we when we started noticing those changes, or when did someone put it in our heads about being a different size? So today's topic is about, I wouldn't say body dysmorphia. I would just say the pressures of trying to fit in with society when it comes to body shapes.
Yes, you know what? I haven't really I can't say I don't think about it because I think it's always been in the back of our mind, right? At one point. So your question was, at what age did I notice my body changing? I would say maybe 10, 11. And this is crazy. Maybe because I was watching movies I was not supposed to be watching. But I realized that I wanted to grow up faster than my body was developing. It's crazy. And
It's not.
and I never really discussed that with anybody. I don't think I ever told a friend or my mom or anything.
It's almost like that was okay to think, but it wasn't. I remember watching my cousins get ready and putting their makeup on, and I thought it was so cool. I can't wait till I put on my eyeliner and go out there, scrunch my hair with some Aquanet or whatever hairspray you had at the day. But I remember wanting to grow up fast. I remember wanting to be those girls in the videos, watching MTV and growing up. And
I have cable, so no.
And I did know, my body did start changing at a young age, around 10 years old. It's when I got my menstrual cycle, so I didn't even know what was going on, and I grew up pretty fast. And, in the Hispanic culture, they don't talk to you about your period as much as they should, so please talk to your daughter about your period. It is nothing to be scared of, but it can be if you don't talk to your daughter.
I think fortunately I did have that conversation with my mom. She would open up about those things. And with me, I guess I was kind of like a late bloomer. So all my friends were getting their periods, and I felt like the little outcast. When is it gonna be my turn? And oh my God, what the heck was I even thinking? I can't wait to get my period. Come on, now it's
I can't wait till it goes away. And that's when you're trying to fit in, not realizing because everyone's doing it, but we didn't know better, and then I remember starting playing volleyball, and we had to wear spandex, and one of the girls was like, well, you have to wear a particular underwear, and I was like, what do you mean? What? And that's when I got introduced to different types of underwear. But then you start noticing your body type, and you have to wear a smaller size, but what? And then people start telling you about sizes. You have to be a certain size, or if you're a size 5 or less, you don't fit in. And what I wish I knew is that in retail, they could put you the wrong size. It may be a European size. It may be not even the right size. So don't let a number define who you are. Dress your body shape.
You know what? That's a good point that you made, because my mom, she was a seamstress. So that was her living, she would make clothes, and she would tell me that. She thought you know what? When we run out of medium tags or whatever, we just put in a small or a large. And this was good like line of clothes, you know. And I would tell mom, that's not fair. Like people are gonna. She's like, I know. She goes, but it is what it is. So it is so true to what you have to say. So don't let that size, like you said, define you, because it might be the wrong size.
And I'm not sitting here and telling you like, oh, look at her, she loves her body. I've gone through my ups and downs, even right now, you know, especially during the pandemic. I gained so much weight and then I lost it. And then you get those pressures because you want to look a certain way. You want to fit in. Another question that I asked us is, did you ever do anything drastic to try to fit in when it came to body
I don't think so. I want to say no. Again, it was just mostly like in my head, like, oh, like I wish maybe, you know, I look like this or I look like that. But I guess, no, I don't think, thank God, I didn't like resort to any.
And I mean, I think a lot of people will stop eating, or I will control it, limit myself. And something that definitely I want to talk about is, or another episode is, talk about exercise. No one really talks about exercise. People talk about exercise because it's a vanity thing, but health is wealth. I cannot stress this so much. You can be whatever you want, but if you're not healthy, you're not going to get what you want to get. And that is so much more important than trying to fit a size. So one is, I mean, I never did nothing drastic, but yes, I was to a point where like, do I want to eat that? I limit myself to the things that I want to eat and why, you know. And now if I love my body type and I go up and down, I'm not the same size, but I fluctuate, but I know how to dress me in that sense. And I wish somebody would have taught me how to dress myself to fit my body type. And that's what it is dress to your body type, what you'd feel comfortable. But it's also important to exercise.
Yeah, as far as exercise, no, you're right. I don't think, no, see, that's the thing with like, I think a lot of Latino parents, I don't know about nowadays, but like back in the day, tortilla, pan, arroz, those were like a must. With every single dish, right? So I don't, like with my parents, no, they never told me like, oh, you should go, you know, Wendy, you need to stay healthy, you need to do that. No, it was never like that. It's as I got older when you realize, whoa, I can't eat 5 slices of pizza anymore. What's going on? I think my metabolism like changed at 28. That was the turning point for me. That's where I realized that, oh no, now it's staying.
And that doesn't like, I can't just get in a diet and it'll go away. No, it's, what is it? Minutes in your lips, forever in your hips.
It does seem that way. But you know what? I did hear that how you take care of your health in your 30s and your 40s, that's what leads to your health in like your 60s, 70s. So I catch myself with that because I'm 36. You know, I still eat pizza. I love burritos. I love food. But I do realize, like, okay, like, girl, we need to calm down.
Moderation.
It's hard.
It really is, especially when you like the tacos with everything on it. Please.
Yes.
Make it a super burrito. Thanks.
Con todo, por favor.
Y una agua. Una soda.
To top it off. No, yeah, but no, I guess those were subjects. I mean, PE, we had to do PE because it was part of, you know, our classes. We had no choice. But you know what? I realized that why do they only make us do PE for 2 years in high school?
That was going to be my next thing. I think PE should be always, even at work. We should have PE at work. Like, we need some active time. Y'all be sitting down too much.
Leave your desk.
Exactly. Or if you're on a conference call, get up, walk around on the call. Do you have to be sitting down? So we need PE in the workforce. But that was also something that I didn't know about until I went to middle school. I was like, wait, we have PE. I did sports. That's what kept me very fit. But again, no one talks about like regular walking. You don't have to do extremes, or keep yourself eating right, you know, or eating the right amounts. And I think because, and I asked my mom, like, why didn't you talk about dieting? And she told me, I didn't want to limit you on food because I didn't have a lot of food growing up. So how am I going to tell my daughter, no te comas eso, don't eat that, where I want to fill your plate, where I want to give you the most things that I didn't have. And that resonated with me. I was like, oh my God, Mom, now I know why you always like, oh no, you need more. Are you sick? Are you okay? And she said it because of the time, I want to cry. It's like, she wanted to make sure that we had what she didn't. And you don't understand where they're coming from until you have a conversation with your parents. So you don't understand that hard love or why they do things. It's because they also don't know better, you know? And so... we have to also educate ourselves to re-educate ourselves, if that makes sense. So thank you, Mama.
Oh no, God bless her heart. And it came out of, like a good intention. But that goes to show you that sometimes, we could be doing something out of love, but maybe, it could cause something negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like those nicknames. People don't be giving people nicknames, gordita, flaquita, because people remember those things.
No, you know what? I do that to my kids, but I mean, they know that it's just out of love. But you know what? It is true, because then subconsciously they start thinking like, oh, si estoy gordita o si estoy gordito, and then and then that's when everything starts like developing your emotions.
It's like, oh, it's a cute nickname, and they're like, wait a minute, what does that mean? Oh my God, tú gordita? Oh, you start looking at yourself, and you go to those dinners, you're like, oh, you gained some weight, and you're like, really? That's the first thing you notice? Like, I'm alive, thanks.
No, or sometimes like out of all the things they could ask you, they'll be like, did you gain some weight? Or did you lose some weight? I don't know, but I guess I did.
And I don't like weighing myself. I always base myself on how my clothes fit. So I'm like, thank you for noticing.
Yeah, that's true. We have a way, but I avoid it. I don't know, I just don't like it, but it's true. But my dresses tell me off when those zippers are not going up. And then I refuse to go buy a whole new wardrobe. I'm like, no, we gotta do some cardio. And like with me is, I think I mentioned it before, I like home exercising videos. Maybe because I'm cooking.
Do.
I'm always like cooking in the background, so it's like, okay, 30 minutes mientras están los frijoles o el pollo, lo que sea.
And you're really good at that, and you like dancing.
I love dancing.
So you do, like, dancing is a lot of exercise. You dance everything, so it's even better.
Just Dance, I know it's pretty old. I don't know how long ago it came out, but that thing, you be sweating bullets. And honestly, like, it helped me bond with the kids a lot. And when they're older, but now I realize, you know what, I need to bring it back, because it was a lot of fun. Dancing. What do you guys do? I'm curious to find out, like how do you stay fit, or have you even started a routine? Because it's
already February. I know y'all started hard, how we all do, and then it's like, I won't go today.
Mañana.
Tengo frío. It's happened to us. That was us. Look, real life. We were supposed to go hiking on Sunday. It rained, and you're like, pero hace frío. It stopped raining, so it happens. You know, that's
like,
what you need.
I'm like, we'll go next weekend.
You need a motivator, someone to motivate you.
Accountability. Yeah, I could see why people like get personal trainers for that reason. Well, first of all, because I feel like if you're gonna be doing like extreme workouts or things, you need to know what you're doing. You need to know how to stretch. Well, because like I know for our age, like a bad stretch, we're done.
Mm-hmm. You cough wrong, oh, it's over. Bed rest, So we have to know how to do things as well.
Yes.
Also, I just had a brain fart, but.
Well, I was gonna say. I feel like as women, and I'm sure men too, you deal with this like identity like dilemmas maybe that you feel like, again, going back to like, well, I wish I didn't look like this, or I look like this. But social media nowadays, I feel like that has made a huge impact on our youth. Also, a lot of women go through surgeries and do all those things, and I get it, like you want to feel happy and all of that, but I also feel like now a lot of kids look up to that, and they, in a way, they see it like it's something easy. Well, I'll just go under the knife, I'll get this done, and
it's this easy,
and I'll look like this, you know what I mean? And I feel like at that age, it's just, you're still a baby.
Do your research. One thing I can't stress enough. Look, I'm not telling you what to do. Again, we're not here to tell you can live however you want. It's do your research. Know what you're doing. Don't just because you see something, oh, it's easy. Everybody has a different body type. Everybody reacts differently. If you don't, you do your homework. It could be for the wrong. So do your homework. But yeah, social media, I think even before social media, like I was mentioning, videos, magazines, those were our social media back in the day.
Or even Barbie, huh? With the little tiny waist.
With the little tiny waist, little size that you can fit the mannequins. Most of the mannequins are size 2 or 4. So you try on the things and you're like, I
mad at those things. When you go to try it out, I'm like, really? Like, come on. Like,
Well, that's why now, it's important that you are representing what's true in America. The average size in America is a size 14, 16. That's the average size. So,
Interesting.
I know, I didn't know that. I thought it was but in European, most of the places like where they manufacture are way smaller, but in America, we are way larger. So a lot of companies don't cater to obese, like bigger sizes, but then are we also telling them then that's not okay? Because it's almost like you're shaming me if you don't carry that size. Oh, you don't have that size? Okay, then I don't belong here. And that's not a good thing either. You need a sense of belonging.
Well, you see a lot of that because you're in retail, right? Mm-hmm. So you get to see a lot of people go through that experience.
Even myself, I've been in our fitting room and I'm like, I don't fit. What's going on? But it just depends. I'm telling you, once you start dressing your body type and not worry about sizes, the life is gonna change. I know that has changed my life. Now I dress my body type. I fluctuate my weight up and down. I definitely try to stay within a different limit. But once you start understanding those body types, clothes fits great. You look good. There's fashion for everyone, So I think it's important that, just ask someone. And please don't be mean to people. The world is already so mean.
Yeah.
Be nice to people and encourage people. If you have nothing to say, keep it to yourself.
And I know that's what I would tell my kid. Think before you speak.
And we're back. Technical difficulties, but here we are.
As again, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. We are learning honestly as we go, but I'm enjoying it because we always thought we were going to be making mistakes, and yes, we're making them, but it's okay. We keep rolling.
Because guess what? We're real people. This is real life. So learn with us as we evolved. Wherever this takes us, wherever this podcast takes us, we're ready. We've been wanting to do this journey for quite some time, and the fear of what if has always stopped us, and we're not letting that happen. So even if you see or mess ups or behind the scenes,
our new settings every now and then,
and that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to record in different places, bring different people to show you like the real life, so you'll see different backgrounds. Again, we want to bring in trainers. We want to go train with the trainers. We want to go walk. We want to go out there. We want to be with the community,
which we need to do, especially for this episode.
Yes. So if you, again, bear with us, and I hope that you're enjoying our growth as much as we are as well.
Yes. No, I just thanking God that, we have this open door. But going back to the subject, we were talking about, I think you were in the middle of a sentence.
So I was going to talk about now, in regards to still, the pressures of bodies and having to meet the society expectation. So another pressure is women who give birth, right? There's always that, are you going to bounce back? How fast do you bounce back? And, I've seen a lot of my friends get really depressed on Instagram, that they even stop following Instagrams because they feel like they need to bounce back really well. They look like Kim Kardashian and all these people that have surgery to get
they have
bounce
personal
back.
Trainers. They also have personal chefs,
nannies, and everything. So they feel like if she can do it, why can't I have it all? And then you become like this. I'm not good enough. Probably my partner's not gonna like me because I'm not bouncing back. Or
when I hear that kind of breaks my heart, because I feel like as a partner you would think hey, you're my wife and you just gave birth to our son, and I love you for who you are, and I feel I'm sorry, but if you have a partner that's judging you on how you look or you need to do, telling you, making you feel bad, then I don't know I wouldn't want to be with somebody like that.
Because guess what? Vanity's only for a couple years. It's about the characters, about being with someone, and you have to realize that person's going to raise your children. So temporarily, it's all about you, but you really have to think about the bigger picture if you want a family, of course. And because this person is also going to teach their traits to your children. It's not about are they cute? Yeah, but can they problem solve? Can they communicate? Can they be emotional intelligence to teach my children what these emotions look like? And that's hard, when everybody's like, you got to look like this and you have to be this pretty. And no, at the end of the day, you got to look at the morals. You got to look at how people are, because physical is temporary. We're gonna grow old, even though I don't want to. But at the end of the day, you have to look at people's values and what they are for, and that's who you're gonna be with. You know, you're not with a pretty face.
And I think that's a sign of like reevaluating like people like this in your life. You know, if you have people telling you, putting you down or bullying you for whatever reason, then that's something to question yourself. I would want to say, be like, what are these person's like true intentions?
Or putting boundaries with your family.
Yeah, because someone that loves you, someone that cares about you, you know, will not make you feel a certain way. You know, I would understand if maybe there's like a eating disorder or something like that, then, you know, it's coming out of love with, you know, an intervention. I get it. But if it's someone that is, you know, constantly putting you down, then I'm sorry, I feel like that person shouldn't be in your life. And also, did you know it takes a whole year for your body to go back to normal after birth? A whole year for everything to go back into place, you know?
Good to know.
I had my kids very young. I was 17 and 18. So, you know, my body, like I had the energy to do that. But I had my third child when I was 26. And that 10-year gap was a huge difference. And even like the recovery, you know, after delivery. So please, mamas out there, if you just had a baby, you're about to have a baby, please do not like hold these high expectations, you know, oh, I'm going to look this certain way, or I want, yes, of course, we're not telling you not to strive to want to, you know, look healthier, be healthier, but don't like pressure yourself to the point where you start hating yourself, you start hating your body, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Because that's a dark place to be.
It is, and I think that's beautiful, you know, you don't put these extra pressures on you, talk to people. I think that's something that, you know, I mean, I've never had children. I hope to have children one day, but I do hear that you go through those
postpartum depression.
Yeah, whether it's like body, your child, just so many different new emotions. So please be kind to mothers. You know, they carry a whole life.
And be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. I feel like, because oftentimes this pressure comes from ourselves. You know, and like I said, you know, and then you start behaving a certain way, or you start doing certain things. Sometimes, you know, maybe you're pushing people away. And like, again, you know, that's a dark place to be. And I always, you know, go back to the Lord. You know, He created us before we even came to this world. So He made us in His perfect timing and His perfect vision. So I see, you know, I always tell myself, you got to see yourself through His eyes, and through His eyes, we're each so beautiful, and we each have such a special purpose, you know. And you can't let the flesh and this world tell you who you are, who you need to be, how you gotta look. And I'm sorry, all these celebrities that sometimes people like, they idolize because they look a certain way, like, that's not true. Like,
those are not the people to idolize.
Yeah. Are you really doing it for yourself, or are you doing it like
for a trend?
Yes, you know. And I don't know, that's scary. I just the thought of going under the knife scares me, you know. But I wish you girls and men too, because I'm sure, you know, there's men out there that probably feel you are beautiful. You have a beautiful soul, and you just got to seek the purpose and see yourself through God's eyes, that you are perfect in His eyes, and don't let anybody put you down.
Nobody. So, I mean, it's something that I was, again, thinking about while we were like shopping for clothes and just the pressures. And now I feel super comfortable with myself. Again, I'm still, you know, I go through those stages, but I think that's something that I wish they taught more in school. Yes, we talk about life education and stuff like that, but really about self-love and like who you are who you are. And everybody's body is different, and you know, you take care of yourself in the right way, you eat the right things. The results are different for everyone. You know, not everyone's going to have the same results, and that's something else to learn working out, is that I thought I was going to get the same result because that person is doing. Body types are different. That's why it's important to know and go to a professional to educate yourself on nutrients, how to, you know, use the exercise, what exercise work for you. That way you don't hurt yourself even more. So it's not more about I'm working out to look good, I'm working out to feel good.
Yeah, and be healthy.
And be healthy, yes.
And another thing, like, you know, to parents and guardians out there, it's really important to tell your children, like, how beautiful or handsome they are. Because sometimes, you know, you might think, you know, well, they know that I know they're beautiful. But sometimes, just hearing it, especially at a young age, I feel like it starts helping them build their self-esteem, that confidence, which I feel like is what in adolescence we go through issues like that, right? Like where you're like, I don't know, I feel this type of way.
Where do I fit in? Kind of finding myself. I feel like I don't fit in with my friends. They're in a different place. You start comparing yourself where you shouldn't compare yourself.
I know.
That's always the
Unfortunately,
worst.
I feel though that's like I guess that's just like a regular thing to go through, because you know what I mean. I guess that's the whole part of like growing up and like discovering, yourself and doing all those things. It's not something good to do, because now as grown ups we know, like, come on, like how we can't be compared. We shouldn't even be doing that with our kids, like like your sister here or your brother this.
That's not good either. Like, oh, your little niece
scar your
does like this. I know, especially like when they're little. Oh, but they used to do like this, or by your age they could already talk, or this. You don't know. You're so right. I've been guilty of that, but I also been corrected.
Yes, like I mean, I'm very nurturing, so I always tell my kids, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," and I know they don't take it like, okay, your mom, so it's by default you have to tell me that. I'm like, no, but you you really are, and again, it goes back to that, just maybe telling yourself that, in the mornings, thanking God you're alive and you're still here, talk to yourself in the mirror. I talk to myself a lot.
You should. I mean, if you don't have been having some real conversations, and sometimes you do have to have those real conversations.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be your own cheerleader. There gets to a point in adulthood that there's no one else cheering for you. You got to be your number one fan. Let me tell you, you got to be your number one fan.
Yeah, especially, when it feels like it's you against the world. But you know what? Oftentimes that's going to happen a lot, But we really wanted to address this because it's just something that, sometimes you see teenagers, like they get so depressed, they kind of like what we were talking about in the last episode, they start finding ways coping with their sadness or their depression and things like that might stem from something as little as, I don't like how I look, or like you mentioned earlier, like maybe, they develop like eating disorders and things like that, and maybe that's something that, maybe they won't talk about it because, from what I've experienced, with people that have came into my life, is like they keep these things to themselves. And they don't say anything,
until it's like too late, or they don't feel safe or embarrassed or shame, and sometimes that happens because you don't want to be judged and you want to just tell someone. So, being an ear is very important, but also know there's resources out there that can help you out, it's taking that step. And if you know someone that's being affected by this, guide them or help them in the resource that you can. You could be that beacon that they need at that time. You just never know. Just be aware. Be aware of your friends, how they're behaving. Behavior always tells you everything. So, pay attention to those signs.
Yes. And like, again, with social media, like, sometimes you could tell through social media. You say someone stopped posting. That's a red flag, if they're always posting, be like, hey, maybe it's time to check in on this friend. Or
when am I? What's going on?
Yeah, because you just never know. And I just, like you said last time, mentoring to the youth, and we keep going back to the youth, guys, because that's the new generation, coming up. And imagine like we dealt with those things, or were those thoughts or feelings growing up in a social media less world.
When there was no podcast, there was no way to social media, there was no way to talk to people. You wouldn't even know people were having these conversations.
But nowadays, it's like everything's out there, right? So it's just, like I said, it goes back to like there's so much going on. Like we are connecting with each other, but we're so disconnected. Like I feel like physically and like emotionally, so and I like all these young girls and young boys, like don't get caught up like with those maybe celebrities or people that look certain way or things like that. What is it that they do when they alter their photos and stuff?
Photoshop.
Yes. Brain fart.
But I mean, it does, because I mean, I've done it, you know, like I look at my skin, I'm like, not this, but am I doing really things to make my skin better? Or I'm just hiding behind the filter, you know? And then that's when you're like, okay, maybe I'm not eating good. I need to clean my face. And then you start taking care of yourself from the inside out.
Yes.
That's when it matters the most.
Yeah. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Obviously, you know, stay healthy, because trust me, your older self will thank you or not.
Yes, I mean, I think like diabetes, all of those other, you know, you just don't know. And if it runs in your family, you have to take care of yourself even 20 times more. Be very, and it's not to scare you people, I'm telling you, it's to help. Because I wish somebody would tell me, like, working out, because people told me working out is for you to have a small body, for you to look good. If somebody would tell me, if you work out, you're going to be healthy, you want to grow older, you're going to have more energy, your bones are going to be last longer, that feels different than I'm being exercised so that I can be a size. And that gets frustrating. That gets I don't want to do it. But then when you start like doing things such as hiking, and you're feeling the air coming through your ears, and your mind has just gone blank, that feels great. That is mine for the exercise.
When we go hiking, we always see this group of older ladies, and they could like all walk us, because we could pass them, but then next thing you know, we're like out of breath, but then there they go. But that's so motivating to see them, you know, like with their little hats and their
whole gear,
their little walking sticks, and I'm like, man, I need to get myself one of those. But that's motivating to see someone, because I strive to be able to reach an age of my 60s, 70s and be able to still hike, you know, be able to
still have the same energy
and not break a hip.
And I've seen some older people that look great, and it's what I tell them, like, what's your secret? Water and exercise.
That my dad, thank God, you know, he's 83 years old, and he's still running up and down, dating, dancing on the weekends. And honestly, like, that's why I started eating garlic, because my whole life, that's all he's done. He loves eating vegetables and garlic, and my mom hated it. But I started doing it because I want to be able to reach, in, like I said, in old age, and be able to be healthy and move around, you know.
So what does he take, like garlic and ginger shots?
Yeah, he makes some, and then like with apple, and then no, sometimes he'll just eat that garlic by itself, like raw.
My uncle used to do
Like
it like
candy.
that. Yeah, okay, but it's hey, I heard they do wonders.
No, I can't eat it like that, but I do love what's it called, garlic stuffed olives.
Ooh.
So with the vinegar.
Ooh, that
so
sounds good.
I eat like 2-3 of those a day. The kids over there was like, yeah, mom. Yeah, pero mira, ahorita ellos tienen catarro. Gracias a Dios, aquí estoy bien. I'm like, you need to eat some garlic. And they still refuse to. I'm like, you know?
Oh man, but I mean, I think that's why it's important to tell people that they look beautiful. Don't get caught up with the sizes. Don't get caught up with the society. Learn what fits you, you know. And if you don't know, there's people out there who like to style people.
There's apps and stuff.
Yes.
I forget which app it was. They send you an outfit, like, but they do this whole evaluation of like your body type and things, and they like send outfits and stuff. I almost signed up, but I was like, no, I need to. I'm an impulsive buyer. But
I'm over here. Ideas for marketing. Got it. Okay. Send them an outfit and have them click on it. Got it.
No, but you know, my mom always told me that, and maybe because, you know, that was her passion. You know, she loved making clothes, and she would always tell me that, Wendy, just because you see an outfit look really nice on somebody or on the mannequin, she's like, it doesn't mean it's gonna look good on you. So she would always tell me, before you step out of the house, she's like, take a good look in the mirror and make sure everything looks good. Because she was big on that. I don't know, maybe it was her like OCD or something, but she would always be like, no, just because someone wears it doesn't mean it's gonna look good. And that's always stayed in the back of my mind.
It's so true. Like those Fashion Novas. Oh, I don't got no booty.
Oh,
sorry. No,
well,
it's
if you don't mind, Elvie, maybe you want to share a little bit about that. I mean, have you gone through a phase where you wanted to alter your body?
I did want to alter my body, and it was because I was feeling pressure, because, you know, I wanted a bigger whatever, you know, whether it was a buttocks or my breast size. But I went through a phase that I did want to, and I was even looking into, I did my research until I saw a video of what goes wrong with surgeries, and that completely changed my thought process. It changed my way of thinking, because I hadn't even tried to get a bigger butt. So how can I sit here and say, oh, I want a bigger butt if I haven't even tried it, you know? And then when I started working out with you, I started seeing those changes. I still don't got a big butt, so simmer down, people. But I realized I didn't want that. I wanted to feel good, and that was an escape route. And if I wouldn't gone through, I probably would have been even unhappier right now, to tell you the truth. That's why at the age, I'm 36 now, at the age of 33, I was the happiest of my, like, where I truly found, like, this is my body. This is who I am. Love it or take it. This is Elvira. And once I started embracing that attitude, that's when I started changing different. I just started dressing for me. But it did get point where, like, all my feed was BBLs, and respect to everyone. I'm not trying to, you know, bash on anyone, but that was my experience. Like, oh, I want that. Oh, I need to look like this. Why does my, you know, bikini look like that? Why doesn't I form that way? And for a long time, it was like, you know, they would tell me, you can exercise all you want, you're never going to get that. So it's better for you to try to get operations. Oh, you can go across the border. It's cheaper operations. And then you start like, oh, okay, maybe I can do that. But then when you really do your research of what can go wrong, that's what really, truly terrified me. Of the bad things of women dying, being left on the tables, having the biggest effects after. Like, what people don't realize is you have to take care of yourself after. It's not just one big surgery, it's like a big full recovery. Imagine if it takes you a year to get back to your body. Can you imagine how much being open into the air, exposed to come back? Oh, I can't even imagine. And I follow a couple YouTubers, and I follow their stories, and I'm so thankful for them, because they were so real on sharing their experiences that they don't even recommend it to anyone. And that's why I also love this podcast, is because I want real people to let me know, like, is that a real, or would you think about it, or did you regret it? And a lot of them regretted it, had bad surgeries, had to go back and get resurgeries, and it was all bad experience. And the biggest common thing is, don't do it. You know, so luckily I went down that rabbit hole, but there's people who don't go that rabbit hole and end up paying the consequences in that sense. Or no, maybe you have a great and everything looks good for you, you know, in that sense. But I know that personally I changed my mind based off of that, of, you know, and I love me now.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy, sister. Because, well, I remember when we had talks about this.
I was like, I want a butt. I want to just like get out.
And in my head, I'm like, oh my goodness, Elvira, you're crazy.
And I was like deep going into like the research and everything. And
but see, that's the key thing. You started doing research, and I feel like, you know, a lot of us sometimes don't do that. So see, I worked in product liability, so that's where like a lot of like medical malpractice takes place, medical products go bad and things like that. Because you talked about, I guess, well, growing up as a little girl, I couldn't wait to like have boobs, you know? And then they stopped growing. Yeah. And then I'm like, what?
Exactly. Huh?
But honestly, working in the legal field, I got to see a lot of cases, and that's what kind of freaked me out. And that's why I'm big on like foreign items going in my body, because of these cases. You know, and again, we're not trying to scare you ladies. No. You know, we're just sharing what we've seen and experienced. You know, there was a couple ladies that they became sick and they couldn't understand why, and it turned out because there was mold that was, I guess, I don't know, caused by the breast implants, and it got like it was going in their blood.
That happened to one of them, like really good. Like, I know this person, I'm not going to say it is, but their body started rejecting the implants. And so then they started getting sick, started losing weight, started like completely. And as soon as they removed the implants, they were healthy again.
So that's a good situation, because I know I'm sure they were able to take care of it. But when I saw these things and you hear all these things, that's when I was like, oh, like, no. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm okay the way I am.
And that's what thing is, social media only tells you about the good stuff. They don't post about like the recovery, the pain. I follow this other girl. She said, I do not recommend it. If I were to go back, I would have never, ever done it, because of the pain is just unbearable and stuff like that. But
yeah, so if this is something that, you know, like, again, if you've got a good experience, by all means, you know, but maybe if you haven't had it, and if you want to share your story, please do so, because you never know, you might be able to help the next, you know, sister that's listening in or she's watching us, right?
Yes, that's why again it's so important to share these stories and be real, in the sense of what else is going out there. Educate yourself. The internet is in everyone's fingers now. So we have access to more things that we never used to have it before. Use that time to research that doctor, ensure that they're licensed. Talk to 10 to 20 of their patients to get reference, not just one person, at least 20 to 25. They said.
Just to make sure.
Just to make sure. If they tell you 20 to 25, that means you need to do your homework intensively, especially for a big surgery. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we want this conversation to be like, there's many different bodies and there always will. We will fluctuate. We will go up and down. You're beautiful no matter what. They make clothes for everyone. And if they don't, we will let them know that they need to make clothes for everyone. That way, everybody can feel fabulous. And that's why fashion needs to be available for every single body type, for every single person out there, so that everyone can feel fabulous no matter what. So
and this goes out to the guys too. Again, I know we're talking a lot about like women topics and things, but guys feel like that sometimes too. And sometimes our husbands won't tell us, or
you'd be surprised when they tell you like, no, I'm starting to gain weight. Actually, you're noticing? Wait, you just like sneezed and you lost weight. What are you talking about? And so, they also are self-conscious on some things.
O también nosotros, también like, ay, ven aquí mi gordo,
like flaco.
So I guess we just got to be more careful with our choice of words.
Or those nicknames.
Why not? Like my hubby, he knows, words of endearment, and we've been together for a long time, but but definitely we just gotta be supportive, be supportive, and at the end of the day, again, just go back to who created you, and you're his perfect creation, and I find comfort in that.
Yes, I agree. So again, short little episode this time around body types with a new scenery. Hope you love this lavender background and you feel a little bit more calm. Matches my nails.
I know, look at you.
But again, I think, let us know what you want to hear. Do you want to see more videos of us doing some in action? Like I mentioned, we're going to bring...
You know what? I do want to do maybe a cumbia lesson of video. I love cumbia.
She's the dancer, so we will all be learning together. Okay. But this is a place where we can all come together.
Yes. And we just and again, just show love for one another, because I think there's so much haters out there. There's no time for that. There's no time for hating. So we love you guys, and we hope you find this podcast helpful in one way or another. And I hope we all get to connect. Maybe we could have people. One day, our goal is to be able to connect with with
all of you. So again, if you have something you want to share, our platform is open for you as well. Let us know. We truly appreciate your time, your support, your love.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming to Let Me Tell You.
Yeah, God bless you.
God bless.
Bye.